With these opening remarks, since the subject of the workshop here is General Semantics, and most of you are very familiar with it, so a few thoughts, running thoughts. I wish this could be interactive, but make the best of it as much as we can. And so I start with a foundational axiom, the very Brahma Sutra or Brahma Vakya of General Semantics. In fact, General Semantics itself is a kind of a map. Words, when we talk, time binding, language, all we are drawing contours of different kinds. The lines are drawn. So GS itself is a kind of map. And let's see, starting with the axiom, map is not the territory. This by now is clear to all of us practically, that map, drawing of contours on a piece of paper, a kind of abstraction, is different from territory, which is out there, extensional, verifiable, green field, ground. So map is not the territory. This difference of paper and difference of extensional world, the difference between the two is more or less clear. Let's start meditating, contemplating, cogitating. What are the derivatives that we can have? What are the corollaries that we can draw from this basic axiom? Map is not the territory. The next one that I start deriving is territory is not the trip. Territory is not the trip. So, although there are green fields there, there is a flowing river there are trees with low-hanging, tempting fruits, but it's all out there. But territory that I see from the top of a hillock, that itself is not a trip. So territory is not the trip, it's not the journey. The first derivative that I am deriving, corollaries, ancillaries, some kind of derivatives that I am drawing out. So this extensional world, stage 1, as I said, paper and green field. Stage 2, green field and journey. These two are separate things. So map is not the territory, territory is not the trip, and the next derivative is map. Therefore, it's a kind of syllogism. It's a kind of syllogism. Map is not the territory, territory is not the trip, and therefore map is not the trip. Clear syllogism. 1, 2, 3. QED. When I say map is not the trip, when I describe the ground, I said there is a flowing river and there is a cottage and there are low-hanging trips. If you want the benefits of low-hanging fruits, you have to journey yourself. So I mentioned the syllogism, and then I say the word trip. Now people sitting here and participating are by and large students of English language and literature, and so I know they would like to have some variation of the word trip. While I have drawn the conclusion in syllogism that map is not the trip, I am presenting an exactly opposite statement also, that map is a trip. Trip in the sense of a stumble. You trip upon something. Trip in the sense of a fall. So, taking recourse to the noun as well as verb, on one hand I say map is not the trip. On the other hand I say map is a trip. You can stumble upon it because you tend to confuse the map and the territory. And when that confusion takes place, when you don't see the structural dissonance or structural consonance, then you trip upon the map. Some loud thinking. I wish I could do this face to face with all of you participants. But as we all know, over the years with language, journalists have a jargon, and that jargon is called journalese. Similarly, there is a lexicon for lawyers, and that lexicon of lawyers is called legalese. And there is a third one that I have coined. And I say the language that we have used over the years, its structure, its fossilization, its identity in ease and all that, that is handed down to us over the years by Aristotle. So I call it Aristotelese. So like journalese and like legalese, we have been using Aristotelese all these years. And Korzybski, with his formulations, said, here is a way out. You can come out of that jargon. You can break out of the template which has been handed down to you for centuries. He gave us a toolkit of formulations. To use it is up to us. Life is something like a loom, I would say. Like a loom. There are the warps of words, of language, warps. And then there is the woof of experience. The shuttlecock moves around. Experience. It keeps on changing. Day to day, time to time, hour to hour, minute to minute. So the warp and the woof of language, the threads of language, and experience that weaves through it. We all weave a kind of tapestry of life. And in that working on the loom, sometimes you will lose a thread. You will drop a thread. A thread may be broken, or there may be a big lump in the thread. To remove all these obstacles, there's a toolkit for the loom of life, to repair it, to rectify it, to bring it back again to a beautiful pattern, the tapestry that you weave. There's a toolkit that was provided by Korzybski.